Sahanam punaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Today we start a chapter of Vedanta, which is, which is the easiest, probably. I don't know if you call it easiest or not. It's the easiest chapter. It's also the most difficult chapter. The easy part is, it is going to tell you something which you already know. It's going to tell you the 3 states of consciousness. You already know that. You don't even need to attend class to know that. Every human being knows that. Every human being knows that he goes through the 3 states of consciousness. He's either awake, or he's dreaming, or he's fast asleep. Dreaming is sometimes called rapid eye movement state. So it's so 3 states. Either he's awake, or he's asleep, and in that sleep he has all these dreams, or in the sleep he has no dreams. So what's the big deal? This is what makes a person a philosopher. He sees exactly what the whole world sees. He doesn't go out and get any further information. He just knows what everybody knows. And yet what he understands from what he knows is, you will see, waking dream and deep sleep is taught in Vedanta through the Mandukya Upanishad. Mandukya Upanishad, as you well know, is one of the highest Upanishads. Upanishads itself are the highest scriptural textbooks. Amongst them, Mandukya is considered among the very top. Now, Mandukya Upanishad is very thin. It's very just few verses. There is such a thick karika on it by Gaudapada. Gaudapada is the guru of Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya, his guru, he wrote a karika. Karika is a commentary on the Mandukya Upanishad. Mandukya is very thin, very little. All the Upanishads are very, very thin books. The karika is big. You get through the Upanishad. Reading the Upanishad like 10-20 minutes. It's over. The karika to study is a big thing. Now, so much on something which you don't even need to attend a class to know. Like every human being knows, right? Everywhere around the world, if you tell somebody that a human being goes through 3 states of consciousness, they'll say, okay, I know that. Now we're going to study it. And the question is, what are we going to study if everybody already knows this? That's the big difference between us and the philosophers. What they can see or perceive or learn about, and they can think about it. So if we are going to become great philosophers, we're going to become rishis of the past, not in the sense of we have long beards and we mat our hair and we are rock our robes, not in that sense. But if we become those people with this amazing intellects, an intellect that can deal with what is happening here, an intellect that can reach the beyond what is happening. If we have to become those people, here's an opportunity to at least see how much you can learn out of something which everybody knows and nobody understands the significance of. That's what intellect or discrimination is all about. So let us start the text and see what they're going to teach us in the states of consciousness. Given that we already know that we go through 3 states of consciousness, big deal. You've got to find out what the big deal is. So chapter 11, the states of consciousness. Who will read the first paragraph?
I can read.
Please.
Chapter 11, the states of consciousness, waking, dream, and deep sleep. Life is a continuous cycle of 3 states of consciousness, the waking, dream, and deep sleep. Every human being goes through these states. At one time, you are awake, you take the form of the waker experiences the waking world. The waking world consists of things and beings, emotions and thoughts appearing in the waking state of consciousness. The waking world exists only for the waker, not for the dreamer or deep sleeper. The entire waking world disappears no sooner than you leave the waking state of consciousness.
Okay, nothing very complicated here. Okay, come, Deep Raj, summarize.
It tells that throughout our life we go through 3 states of consciousness: the waking, dream, and deep sleep. When we're in the waking world, we experience the waking world. And the waking world exists only for the waker and not for the dream world, deep sleeper. So when you go to a dream state, the waking world disappears.
The waking world disappears, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, firstly, every human being, every being goes through 3 states of consciousness. Everybody knows that, right? What are these? Waking, dream, and deep sleep. Everybody knows that. Now, what does the waker do? He experiences the waking world, as Deep Raj told us. He experiences the waking world. What is our waking world? Everything around. What is currently there in your waking world? Currently.
The laptop, the glass, the air.
Right. So this is your waking world. Right? Currently you're in a class. As long as you're all awake, you're in this class. If you doze off, you will leave the class. Though for our screen, it seems like you're here, but you have gone off. Then when you go off, this world has disappeared. Absolutely disappeared. So what is it you have to understand? What is significant here? The waker experiences the waking world. Very significant. When he goes to sleep, the waking world disappears. It isn't there. The waker experiences the waking world. This is common sense, right? There's nothing fantastic you're learning. Let's just try to get the significance of what is being said. The waker experiences the waking world, the current world that you are in contact with physically, mentally, intellectually, if you're listening intellectually, then you're listening to the class. If your mind is thinking, oh, how wonderful or how horrible or whatever it is, whatever emotions you're going through, that's what you're transacting with. And physically, you have a laptop in front of you, I suppose, or a phone, or I don't know, the room you're in, whatever. All of this is the waking world. Your wife, your child, your business, your accolades, your failures, they're all part of this waking world. Now let's see. All of this exists for you only as long as you are here. The share prices are all rising and you're becoming a billionaire only as long as you're in the waking world. You can go to sleep and it's all gone. Similarly, share market is crashing and you're becoming a pauper. And all of this is available to you only in the waking world. When you go to sleep, you can dream you are jet setting somewhere. So, whatever is going on here is applicable only here. It's not applicable anywhere else. Suppose you're married to the world's best doctor, bypass surgeon, married the world's best. Okay, you go to sleep and you dream you have some heart ailment. Can that spouse in the waking world help you with your ailment in the dream world? It's all gone. Can all the money of your waking world help you with the debts of your dream world? It all goes away in a flash. And then you come to the second state, which is the dream state. All right, so let's read the next paragraph. Who will read the next one?
I can continue reading.
Okay, continue.
When you leave the waking state, you enter the dream or deep sleep. In the dream state, you take the form of the dreamer. The dreamer experiences the dream world. The dream world consists of things and beings, emotions and thoughts appearing in the dream state. The dream world is totally different from the waking world. It exists only for the dreamer and not for the waker or deep sleeper. The dream world too disappears no sooner than you leave the dream state of consciousness. Similar to the waking state, the dreamer experiences the dream world. The dream world disappears when he leaves the dream world.
The whole dream world, whatever you are experiencing, lasts as long as the dream lasts. You dreamt you got the Nobel Prize and you were feeling top of the world. It lasts only as long as the dream lasts. Anything, right? So many wonderful dreams we have. We dream that we meet Prince Charming or Princess Charming, and she or he is so wonderful, but he lasts only as long as the dream lasts. No sooner you leave the dream, all of that disappears too. Then, third one. Now somebody else has to read, otherwise.
I'll read, Janki.
Please go ahead, madam.
In the deep sleep state of consciousness, you take the form of the deep sleeper. The deep sleeper experiences sleep without dream, a blankness, nothingness. That experience exists only for the deep sleeper, and not for the waker or dreamer. It also disappears when you leave the deep state of consciousness. So he's saying when you experiencing deep sleep, whatever experiences you have in waking and dream sleep, dreaming, it goes off. You experience nothingness. And as soon as you enter to fourth set, whatever experience you have in this three set, that also goes off.
Wait. You don't jump the gun. You just summarize over here what it says.
Okay.
In the deep sleep of consciousness, you become the deep sleeper. What is it? What's the difference in deep sleeper and dream?
Blankness.
Sleep without a dream.
Yes. In the dream, you have a dream. In deep sleep, you have no dream. That's the difference. Correct. So don't get confused. Is anybody new today? I hope everybody is with us. Anyone is new? Samaresh, looks like a new name. Amitabh, Samaresh, are you all new? Everybody else seems like an old name. Old name means I seem to know everybody else. So I hope if you're having any problem, then please ask, okay? So I hope it's clear. I think it's very clear up to now. There's no issue to understand this. When you're in the waking world, when you're an awaker, you experience the waking world. When you're a dreamer, you experience the dream world. When you're a deep sleeper, you don't experience anything, which is the deep sleep world. Deep sleep world, there's nothing to experience over there because you're in deep sleep. Because there is no experience over there, you call it deep sleep. You're only no experience in the sense there is a blankness, a nothingness. There is nothing for you to report. You can't say, I woke up and I saw this or I saw that. Then you are in the dream sleep. Deep sleep, you're just sleeping. You're experiencing absolutely nothing. Okay? So, 3 states, 3 experiences. And all 3 experiences last only as long as you are in that state. Whatever your dream world is not available to you in your sleep or in your deep sleep. Whatever your dream world is, however good or however bad, it is not available to you in either waking or deep sleep. And the blankness of deep sleep, the thoughtlessness of deep sleep is not available to you in the other 2 states. There can be no debate about this, right? Everybody understands that this is fundamentally true. Everybody knows it. I mean, we're talking about a normal human life. Everybody knows it. There's no debate about it. So then what? What's the point getting to? Let's see. What's he getting to? Who will read the next one?
I'll read, Janki.
Please.
Your life revolves around the above 3 states of consciousness.
Read slow. Manoj, everyone's reading pretty fast. Read slowly because now it's going to become something we really need to think about.
Right. Your life revolves around the above 3 states of consciousness. The personalities of the waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper, and their distinct worlds. These are conditioned states. The pure consciousness, conditioned by the causal body, becomes causal body becomes the deep sleeper. Likewise, the consciousness conditioned by the subtle and gross bodies become the dreamer and waker respectively. Hence, the waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper are conditioned consciousness. You know yourself only as a waker, dreamer, or deep sleeper. But you know not you are the unconditioned consciousness, the substratum of the 3 experiences, and that your real self is the unconditioned consciousness and not these conditioned personalities that you believe yourself to be. So it is summarizing like the 3 states, like what actually we are and what we assume ourselves to be at different moments. We see ourselves as waker, dreamer, or deep sleeper, but it's saying like we are not that. We are supreme self, unconditioned consciousness, but currently we are conditioned.
What are we conditioned by?
We are conditioned by our our vasanas.
Okay, use the same word as the text. What is conditioned by what?
Conditioned by subtle and gross bodies.
What is conditioned by what? When the pure consciousness is conditioned by the causal body, you become?
Dreamer.
You become?
Deep sleeper.
Deep sleeper.
Sorry, deep sleeper.
When the consciousness is conditioned by the subtle body, you become?
Dreamer.
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 When the consciousness is conditioned by the gross body, you become?
Waker.
Waker. Okay, so here's an explanation of what is happening. There is consciousness, right? We all have consciousness. So when that consciousness is functioning only through vasanas, only through the causal body, what you experience is nothingness. You're fast asleep. When the subtle body starts manifesting, when the thoughts start manifesting, and the pure consciousness is now conditioned by those thoughts, means the pure consciousness is now functioning through thoughts, you become the waker. So you see things, you feel things, all this is going on while your thoughts are functioning. But when your body also comes into function, the gross body also starts functioning, then now the pure consciousness is functioning through the body as well, through the vasanas, through the mind and intellect, and through the body, all three now. Then you become what is known as the waker, and your experience becomes full. Full means this full. So basically, you can assume that there are four things that are going on. There is either the consciousness by itself, right? Or that consciousness is functioning through the causal body, the vasanas, in which case you are a deep sleeper. Or the thoughts have also started functioning. So now this consciousness is going through the consciousness is going through the vasanas, is going through the thoughts, and this state is of sleep. And then the gross body starts functioning. So then the consciousness is functioning through the vasanas, through the thoughts, through the gross body. Right? Now it's conditioned by all of this. It's conditioned by it means it's functioning through it. You're not seeing it for itself. You're going to see your conditions, your consciousness, like the fact that you're conscious, is conditioned by going through all these things. It's like you're seeing a light bulb, but there are colored sheets in front of it. So the end light you see is no doubt that light, but it is through those colors. Those colors have also got mixed into it. That's called being conditioned. That means you're not seeing it in its pure form. Now what Vedanta is trying to say is that pure form, before it got conditioned by all of this, that is the self, that pure consciousness, before its conditioning. Okay, so I already see questions, so the trouble has started already. It seems so simple, it's so deceptively simple, what's not to understand, and yet it's going to take us for a full toss. Mukesh, what is the difference between dreams and sleep? And one says, I am, example, dreaming of going on a holiday when one is awake. Is this just your mind thinking? Yes, dream in the sense of how you use it for the waking state of consciousness is only your desires. What I wish to do, it's only your desire. I dream of doing this or dream of doing that. But if we are talking of dreaming as in the state of consciousness, then it's a different world. I mean, it's your dream world where you go to sleep. You may even forget what you said. In the waking world, you say, I'm dreaming of going on a yacht. But in the sleep, in the dream, you may say, oh, I hate water. So there's no connection really. Yes, so in answer to your question, yes, this is just your mind thinking, it is your desires.
Thank you.
Okay, Gunjan, Hariom. How do we differentiate between walker and waker and dreamer? Gunjan, I'm not sure I understand your question. How do you differentiate between waker and dreamer? When you're awake, you're a waker, and when you've gone to sleep, you're a dreamer. I don't understand your question. Like when you sleep at night, you're a dreamer.
Yes. Jankisi, I want to say that in the three states, we are conscious, like in a deep state, when we are walker, and when we are dreamer. But when we are dreaming, we think that this is the actual things. This is the reality. But as soon as we come out of it, we think that yes, this was not the reality. But in the same way, when we are actually living this world, we think that this is reality. But who knows this is reality? I mean, we are in the three state and we are conscious. So what is the reality? What is true actually?
That is what we are going to study, Gunjan. How are we going to tell the difference? So correct, you're at least understanding the base, that is, at every stage you believe this is all there is. At every stage. And at no stage do you ever ask the question, is this all there is? So you're right. So that's how you, by giving us this wider perspective, it's like a wide angle lens, you know, and like how you have now seen that, yeah, but in my dream, I really thought that was true. Exactly as I'm thinking now, this is true. I believe right now a class is going on. I believe I have a spouse, I have children, I have studies, I have this, I have that. I'm completely involved in it. And like that, in a second, it can disappear. And I will believe something completely different. Right now, I believe there's class going on. We are studying Vedanta. If I get bored to death, then I will fall off to sleep. And when I fall off to sleep, I may dream of myself, I don't know where, on a yacht, having a party. I don't know what, something I'm dreaming. To me, that yacht, that party, and all that will suddenly become true. And this whole thing will become non-existent. Then I wake up, I'm again back here. And that yacht is all a dream. That is now non-existent.
Yes.
Strange, strange. So you're right, Gunjan, that's how we have to learn to see life. When we're seeing life, we learn to see something more. And that is what is called traditionally as opening the eye of wisdom. You know, without eyes, these eyes, we are seeing the world. And then they say there's a third eye over here in the middle of your forehead. And that has to open. And then you will be a saint or a realized soul or whatever. No, I actually read a book where one man, he was like, he said that his third eye opened, and what they did was they made a hole over here. I don't know what people understand of all these third eyes opening. Please, there is no such third eye that's going to open. When the third eye is a poetic construct which talks of seeing something beyond what these two eyes show you. You can't say, oh, the sages had 3 eyes, I have 4. You can't say all this. What it means is seeing beyond my 2 eyes with another vision. So now you haven't learned anything new today, right? Same thing you always knew, you know now. But opening the third eye now means that you're now looking at it differently. You're suddenly beginning to realize there is a significance in this stuff that I know, which I had not thought of before. So yes, so we are going to learn Gunjan as far as possible. Satsang host who? Omkar?
Yes, Jankiji.
Yeah, go ahead, Omkar.
So I want to understand the difference between conditioning and influence, because we have learned that the gross cannot influence the subtle, but the gross here seems to condition the subtle. So what's the difference between the two?
When you influence something, you change their nature. When you condition it, it Now I'm explaining to you the difference in the concept, okay, not the words, because the words can be used interchangeably. When you say the self is conditioned, the self itself is not in any way affected by the conditioning. It is not changed in and of itself. It is when you are looking at it, you are seeing it from the other side. Okay, so here's a bulb. Here is a red cellophane paper, right? Now, when I say that the light is conditioned by the red cellophane paper, so that now the light on this side looks red, the light isn't really red. Nothing has really happened. You are viewing it like this, which is different from being influenced, where some change, some real change has actually occurred.
Yes, got it. Thank you.
Okay, it's the okay. So if I put a red dye in water, then the water has become red. But if I sort of coat a bulb with a red sheet, then I see red light, but the light is originally yellow and continues to be yellow. Okay. And please, this is not about the words, it's about the concept. So the next time you say, that time you said influence was this and conditioning is this, I don't know. In this context, these words we are using for this concept. I mean, the concept should be clear. We can use different words for it. Jai Shri. Can dreams be signals to our life? If they carry some messages to us? How to meaning to the dream, how to, I suppose, add meaning to the dream, or how to do interpretations. Jayashri, are you new to this class, first time?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So, Jayashri, we are discussing currently the significance of the fact that you have a dream at all. We are not discussing what is another field altogether, which is dream interpretation. The purpose of this is a philosophical understanding of life and not how to interpret dreams. Because if we start getting into how to interpret dreams, we can just as easily start getting into how to interpret the various things happening in the waking world. But that's not our current topic. Our current topic is the fact that we go through these three states. And dream interpretation is not part of philosophy, it's part of psychology. We don't take it up as far as psychology, as far as philosophy is concerned. Dreams have no significance whatsoever. Only time it has any significance is if you have a recurrent dream. Because if you have a recurrent dream, I'm answering this question, Jayashri, only because you said you were new. Anybody
Yes, because there is no proper authentic source I could able to find out. So I just asked this question. Yeah, but I have really understood very well. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
All right. So we let us follow, all of us, the line of thought. And this is a difficult topic, though it is so easy. It is so difficult because it's so easy. It's like it's there and it's gone before you know what happened. Rajesh, during the stage of the waker, can he withdraw his senses of perception and be as close as possible to the dreamless stage? During the stage of the waker, can he withdraw his senses of perception and be as close as possible to the dreamless stage? Well, you could try, Rajesh, and see what happens, but I don't understand why you would like to go into the dreamless stage. Why don't you just go to sleep, if that's what you're attempting to do?
No, the question relates to while, like when you are doing sitting down meditation and you meditate on nothing, and everything around there is, you're not getting affected by the light or the sound around you. So can we read that stage? That's what my question is. Just a wild thought.
Yeah, it is pretty wild, Rajesh. Yeah, let's not discuss meditation now. Meditation is coming a couple of chapters down. This, let us just focus our attention on trying to understand these three states. So you can then, then later on somebody will say, what about daydreaming? Does that come in dreaming or does it come in waking? So like this, I mean, we won't get to what is the point he's trying to get at, the significance of the whole thing. So let's just focus our attention on the fact that on one base fact, the only important thing that we have to focus our attention on is that while you are there, you believe that is all there is. And the moment you leave it, you, with the same certainty, believe something else altogether. Suppose you could speak to the deep sleeper and you ask him, what is all this? He can't speak. I'm just sort of poetically saying, he'll say, there's nothing. What are you talking about? If you could speak to the dreamer, he will tell you his world and all that's happening and tell you, you don't know my problems, you don't know my joys, you don't know my past, you don't know my future. He believes in every bit of it. The dream stage has hardly been 3 minutes. He will give you a history of 40 years. So, right now, you're attending this class. Most of you have been attending this class for many years, or so you believe. Did those years actually take place? Or is this today the first one? In the dream is 3 minutes old. You have conceived yourself as a 40-year-old. How long has this dream been going on? And you are conceiving yourself as 25, 45, 65, 105, whatever it is you are conceiving yourself to be. Did it really last this long? You say, of course it lasted this long. See, I'll show you my pictures from childhood. I'll show you, very cute little child. Suppose Deep Raj shows us one picture. When I was a child, see, shows I've been here for so long. But can the dreamer not show us exactly the same kind of proof? Something to think about. So focus your attention on only one thing. Whilst you're there, that is the world. And the moment you leave it, that world doesn't exist. Isn't that a frightening thought? Take notice this. So time is a mental concept. We don't know the solutions to anything, Madeline. But everything in your world is nothing but your own mind. If you find this class very enjoyable, and at some stage the class gets over, you will say, what? It's over? If you find it very boring, then after 10 minutes, you'll be looking at your watch and saying, it's not over, it's not over. That same 1 hour for various different people will feel very different. So what is then the concept of 1 hour? Is it just the movement of the earth? What is it? Everything, there is an external and there's an internal. Your experience is the internal, not the external. See, what is an hour? What is time? Your earth is moving round and round this. Okay, so that way you count the hour. Or you count the hour as how it feels. If you're with your beloved and you have only 1 hour, oh, it will be gone in 2 seconds. If you are breaking your head over maths problems, not Deep Raj, but the rest of us, and 1 hour will go on forever. So, it feels like Brahmaloka. Yeah, Brahmaloka, time goes very fast. So, all right. So technically, at least you must understand what happens in the thing. There is pure consciousness. Coming back, there is pure consciousness. Pure consciousness. Pure consciousness. With the when you only got pure consciousness and vasanas, when it is conditioned by just the causal body, we experience what we call deep sleep. Then the mind and intellect, the thoughts start working. And when these thoughts start working, what we experience is the dream state, because you have all sorts of thoughts and visual representations. Then you have the gross body also comes. So now in the waking state, everything is there. Your vasanas exist, the causal body, the mind and intellect, and the physical body. So what we experience is the waking world. Whenever we talk about the waking world being conditioned by gross body, please understand as a matter of, whenever you say gross body, it includes the others because it cannot exist without the others. But when you say vasanas, it doesn't include gross body because vasanas can exist without the gross body. All right, so is this much clear? So you have the self, unconditioned consciousness, which functions through the 3 material layers, and therefore you have the waking world. When it functions through 2, you have the dream world. When it functions through only 1, you have the deep sleep world. When it functions by itself, you already realize so. Unconditioned, you reach the unconditioned. It's like, imagine a bulb. It's got 3 coatings. So first you remove 1, then you remove the second, then you remove the third, and then you see the bulb for what it is. Okay, are we good so far? So far, so good, everyone. Okay, so let's continue. Now, who will read the next paragraph?
I can do. Hello? Okay. The causal body consists of vasanas, the seed, which causes the individual personality, hence called so. The causal body manifests first as the subtle body. The subtle body comprises thought, emotion, and desire. It further manifests as the gross body, which perceives and acts. The structure and behavior of the gross body will depend on the nature of the subtle body, which in turn will depend upon the quality of the causal body. If the causal body is likened to a seed, the subtle body would be the sapling and the gross body the tree. So the causal body consists of vasanas, which are the seed that actually causes a personality to be what it is. So this is why it's called the causal body. But the causal body manifests first as the subtle in thought and emotion, and then it also manifests as the gross body, which perceives and acts. So what it's actually saying is that the more the subtle permeates the causal body, permeates the subtle and the gross body.
The causal body is the cause of the subtle
Of the subtle body and the gross body. So if we want to take the picture of a tree, the causal body would be the seed, and then the subtle body and the gross body would be the trunk.
Yes, correct. So, causal. Everybody initially calls it as casual. It's hardly casual. Neither is it formal. It is the cause, therefore causal body. The causal body is the cause of having a subtle body. and having a gross body. Like the seed is the cause of the sapling and of the tree. So what is this causal body? It is your inherent nature. There are different words for it: avidya, prakriti, causal body, vasanas, bliss sheath. These are all synonymous terms. They mean that which causes the personality, this personality. So there is a causal body which we do not know, because the only time it exists is in that state of nothingness. So how are you going to know it? Then how we do know it is through knowing our thoughts, because the thoughts are derived from that. Like how you can see mango and you know that this has come from the mango tree. So even though you're not seeing the tree, from the mango you know which tree it was. So you know your vasanas from your thoughts. That's the only way you can know them. There's no other way to know them. And then these thoughts become the gross body. Because whatever desires you have will be the kind of actions you have, will be the kind of body you have. If your desire is to be a sumo wrestler, then you'll have a certain type of body, right? If your desire is to be Miss Universe, then you'll have a different type of body. So based on your desires will be your body. Suppose you're a carnivorous creature, then you need the lion's body, right? How can you be carnivorous if you don't have a lion's body? Or if you want to fly, then you will be a bird and have wings to fly. Or if you're a human being, you will catch a flight. But your body is designed by your desires. Where your body is designed by your desires. You know, if you have a great sweet tooth, you have a particular kind of body. If chilies is your favorite, then you'll have a different type of body. So each thing, whatever your desires are, your body is formulated according to that. So the vasanas cause the desires cause the body. But the important thing is, all of this functions only on the base of consciousness. Because remove consciousness and none of this is there. It's like saying electricity functions through the gadget and then it washes clothes. But all of this becomes useless when electricity goes away. In our case, of course, consciousness never goes away. It's all pervading. So therefore, we tend to ignore it because it's always present. We don't realize it's missing or its absence. Like we don't, when I say, what am I great? What all do I have in this world? Suppose I make a list. I won't write oxygen, no? And yet without oxygen, I cannot live. But I won't say oxygen because oxygen is always there. Mm-hmm. I will only write the things which are not there sometimes. Mm-hmm. Suppose I say, I'm building a new house. What all do I want in my house? I'll say I want the sofa and the dining table and the blah, blah, blah. But will I ever say I want electricity? I will only say that if I live in a place where it is not available. You never say, no, I want electricity. In my dream house, there will be electricity. And yet your dream house can't be a dream house if there's no electricity there. I never say it because you take it for granted. How is electricity there, Deep Raj? In Orissa, right? You're in Orissa, no?
Assam.
Assam. How is electricity there?
Not that good. We have power cuts every day.
So then when you make a house, you will say, I will make sure electricity is there 24 hours. But in Mumbai, in Delhi also, electricity comes and goes, and so it's a matter of conversation. In Mumbai, electricity just never goes. And so it's never a matter of conversation. Nobody talks about it. In Delhi, there's a lot of discussion around it. What kind of generator, what is that thing they had that other than the generator, something else they had? Inverter, yeah. Thanks.
Janki ji, now there is no power interruption in Delhi.
Oh, wonderful.
After last 5 years, I think it's uninterrupted power supply.
Oh, wonderful. So now nobody in Delhi says, I want electricity. Why? Because it's always there. Arun is not liking us in saying Mumbai is better than Delhi. Sorry, Arun. There's a constant debate in this country, which of these two cities are better. Yes, correct. Now Delhi is up there, at least as far as electricity with Mumbai. So the thing is, you never ask for the things which are always there. You're not grateful for them, you don't ask for them, you don't, nothing. And consciousness is like that. It has never left you from birth to death. It has never left you. In your waking world, it has never left you. In your dream world, it has never left you. In your deep sleep world. And therefore, it is totally ignored. And yet none of it can happen without it. Nothing is possible. So, consciousness functioning through the causal body, that is the vasanas, leads to the manifestations which are known as thoughts, and which leads to further manifestations which are known as the body. All of these derive back to this combination of consciousness and vasanas, both of which are unknown to us. Okay, so the causal body, it's called causal because it is the cause, the seed body, leads to the subtle body. It's called subtle body because it's subtler than this gross body, and this is known as the gross body, the physical body. I hope everyone's clear on this terminology. All right, so let's just go through the terminology because it's all used interchangeably, so there should be no confusion. Give me all the synonyms of causal body.
Bliss, sheet,
Vasanas.
vasanas, ignorance,
Avidya,
Avidya, ignorance of the self. What else?
Deep sleep.
Deep sleep, very good. All of these are the same thing. No difference. Equal, they're all equal. Right? Let's do synonyms of the subtle body. What are the synonyms of the subtle body?
Mind and intellect.
Mind and intellect.
Vigyanmay Kosh.
Go on, it's not just Vigyanmaya.
Bliss, sheet.
Manmaya and Vigyanamaya.
Manomaya and Vigyanmaya, correct. Then, and some of Pranmaya also. Okay, but we can ignore that.
Okay.
Then what else?
Thoughts and
Dream.
emotions.
Thoughts and emotions.
Thoughts and emotions,
very good. What else?
Dream state.
Very good. Okay, so all of these are synonymous terms. Okay, all mean exactly the same thing. Okay, then gross body. What are all the synonyms?
Annamaya.
pranamaya kosha,
Half of Annamaya and half of Pranamaya. Yeah, okay.
Waking state.
Actions.
Actions. The physical body, say physical body. That's the most common one we use, right? The physical body. All right. All right. You're clear, right? Anybody has any debate on this? Because any confusion on all the various synonyms, so that, you know, as we go forward in the more philosophical ideas, we should not get lost in the words or something. So, all okay? Anybody not okay? Please stop and say so. All right, now let's come back. Who will read the next? Okay, so far so good, right? Anybody has any questions so far? Please understand this is all growing very gradually, so make sure that every part has been understood. Otherwise, later on we'll go somewhere and it'll all disappear. You will not happen. So let's go through it again. There is consciousness. Consciousness functioning through vasanas, conditioned by the vasanas, gives us an experience of nothingness known as deep sleep. Consciousness functioning through the subtle body gives us thoughts and emotions. And we experience it as whatever the happenings of the dream world. And the same consciousness functioning through the gross body gives us the waking world. Now, gross body includes subtle body, includes vasanas. Subtle body includes vasanas. Vasanas by itself is possible. So this much picture is clear, right? Any problems with it so far?
I had a slight questions regarding the manifestations. The vasanas manifesting into thoughts, we can never figure out the mechanism because it's beyond the intellect. But the subtle body manifesting as the gross body, can we look, because you said that you get a physical body with respect to your desires. Can we also look at like modern appliance and modern technology as also manifestations of the subtle into the gross body?
Yes, of course, because that is called the outer body, but it's not relevant here, so we don't go into that. But vasanas manifest as thoughts, manifest as actions, and manifest as the outer body, which is the world. Your world will be what is formulated by your vasanas. So if your vasanas are philosophical, so what world have you got? You have a philosophical world. Somebody else has some other vasanas, whatever that world is. Your body is formulated. If you're a tiger, if you have vasanas of a tiger, you get the thoughts of a tiger, you get the actions of a tiger, and you'll have the consequences of the tiger. Consequences means whatever's happening in the world. So whole thing is the result of vasanas. But that outer world is not spoken of because it's not relevant to context here. Okay. Who will read the next paragraph? Why am I so reticent in reading? Nobody bites you if you read, huh?
I can continue.
Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
In deep sleep, you are unconscious of everything. The deep sleeper knows nothing. The waking and dream worlds do not exist for him. He is steeped in ignorance. People dismiss that state as emptiness or nothingness. Few have cared to study it thoroughly. Psychiatrists, even some philosophers, have paid little attention to this vital state of life. Vedanta bids you examine the deep sleep state closely. The nothingness is your seed body. Out of the seed emerges the dreamer and waker and their respective worlds. This nothingness is the cause of the particular individual emerging out of it. A philosopher goes to sleep and wakes up as a philosopher. A mathematician sleeps and wakes up as a mathematician. So does a musician as a musician. Thus, if everyone wakes up as oneself, there has to be a continuity of the person during the period of sleep. So, the deep sleep, as we said, was the state of
continue. It's not over.
Sorry.
No, something went wrong.
That's out of the sea. It seems the personality and other spring countless. Sorry. Thus, everyone wakes up as oneself. There has to be a continuity of person during the period of sleep. If a musician, I went through that. if a musician goes to sleep and wakes up as a musician, then his personality must necessarily exist in sleep in its unmanifest form. So does your individuality exist in the seed form while you are asleep. Thus, out of your seed, a seeming nothing arises, your personality, and out of countless seeds, a vast nothingness, spring forth countless individuals. In fact, the whole world arises from that seeming void, emptiness and nothingness. I can't see what's below. So,
it says, okay, I'll read that last line. Hence, the Bible states, God created the world out of nothing.
Yes. Wow. Quite a paragraph.
Yes.
So, in deep sleep, we said we are unconscious of everything. We are unconscious and we experience nothing. And people dismiss the state as nothingness. So very little people have cared to think about this state, psychiatrists or philosophers. However, Vedanta says that we should examine this state of deep sleep much closer, because it's out of this consciousness state of deep sleep. This is where the seat of the seed body is, says Vedanta. And it's out of this body that emerges the dreamer and the waker, as we have said just now. So this nothingness is the cradle from which a particular individual emerges. So there is this example, if a philosopher goes to sleep, of course, he will wake up as a philosopher. A musician goes to sleep, he will wake up as a musician. So we always wake up as the one we went to sleep. So there is something that does not change, which is our seed. Whatever form we may take, it remains the same. So out of this state of consciousness, which was nothing, actually, this is the state from which everything emerges. And he finishes by saying it's out of nothingness that God created the world. I think I skipped one or two things.
No, you're fine, Madeline. We will study this in greater depth next time. It's a paragraph that requires much thought, so we'll come back to it.